Hi, welcome to Is It a Film? A podcast that critiques and makes films and asks one important question. Is it a film? I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Jodorowsky's MF Doom, and I'm joined by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my droog, Vincent.
AKA Young Malcolm McDowell. He can get it.
He can fucking get it.
He can fucking
He
get
can
it.
smash.
He can smash anything he wants. I'll let him. Already in the shithole. I messed up with the intro. I put the Anthony Todd thing up.
You did
for a
fuck
second.
up. I saw it.
But oh well. You got to roll with the punches, like David Byrne, as I always say. This is episode 2 of the Is It a Film? An episode we would like to call Nothing Rhymes with Cockwork. Nope. No, let me re-say that. This is episode 2 of the... I put Anthony...
You got Malcolm McDowell's cock on your brain. That's why it's Cockwork Orange,
I
right?
had dick on the line. This is episode 2 of Is It a Film? An episode we would like to call Nothing Rhymes with
A Clockwork Orange.
I keep wanting to say cock. I don't know.
I know why.
And then Eminem comes in, he's like, Cockwork Orange, Harrison Ford on the floorboards. Have you ever seen that video?
No.
It's like Eminem's like, yeah, I'm most disgruntled when people say nothing rhymes with orange. And he goes like, porridge, orange. And like, they're the most shittiest rhymes of orange.
Well, it's Eminem, so what were you expecting?
Today we're talking about, and we're critiquing and reviewing my favorite film of all time. All the time.
All time.
A Clockwork Orange.
A Clockwork Orange. It's Vincent's favorite film,
It's my favorite film.
which is worrying.
Why?
A Clockwork Orange is one of those films that, like, when somebody says, oh yeah, I love that film, there's only two ways it can go. Either they legitimately understand the film, they love it, and they understand, like, the critiques in the society, which is the you. This is Vincent, this is Vincent, this is me. Hopefully. And then there's the people who...
It's the, what's his name? Main character, or second...
Alex...
No, not main character. The character in Fight Club.
Oh, yeah, they Tyler Durden in it.
Tyler Durden, in fact.
They Tyler Durden in it, they Rick and Morty it, yeah.
They don't understand the true meaning of why it's good.
Yeah, they
Rick and Morty, I think, is a different effect, because I feel like people do understand why it's good. They're just assholes about it.
True. But yeah,
Tyler Durden is they see this like...
They identify with the wrong character for the wrong reasons. Also, American Psycho has this a little bit.
A lot of bit.
A lot of it, which is even more terrifying. But yeah, it's basically just one of those films where like people like start identifying and like really like the main character, failing to remember the fact that in the film itself you're supposed to dislike him. You're supposed to recognize that like, yes, he can be charming, yes, he can be this and that, but like he is a terrifying, awful human being, and you should not relate to that aspect of him.
Yeah. So you ready for a basic ass intro? Straight from Wikipedia?
Straight from Wikipedia itself.
Straight for Wikipedia, and also a bit of Vincent in here. Just like I hope to be in young Malcolm McDowell someday. Just a bit of Vincent.
Build a fucking time machine, you'll have a shot.
Bit of Vincent. Came out in 1971. It's based on a novel, Clockwork Orange. So it's the same name, by Anthony Burgess. Burger. Anthony Bob's Burgers. We gotta get a burger. Like, I can't do a Bob's Burgers impression. I want to do a Bob impression.
Just do an Archer impression.
I can't.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. I can think how he sounds, but I just can't do it. It's like one of those impressions. Vinesauce does a really good Bob's Burgers impression, and it's fantastic. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's directed and written by Stanley Kubrick, who this was after Doctor Strangelove in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Two of my favorite films.
And before The Shining and Full Metal Jacket.
Two great films.
Also before his greatest film to date. It's so great he couldn't finish it because he died. It's that detrimental of an art. That detrimental to his health. Of course, AI. I watched AI once on HBO, and it's one of the most confusing and bullshit films I've ever seen.
I bought the Blu-ray.
Can we watch that one day? Cause,
yeah,
like,
that's definitely one we should talk about. So let's not talk about too much. All I will say is
it's just fucking confusing.
It's very clearly two different filmmakers.
Because it's directed by...
It's directed by Spielberg, based on like a script and a concept by Kubrick. But like, it's very clearly like Spielberg desperately trying to copy Kubrick in places while just being Spielberg in other places, which, well, yes, they were best friends. They did like each other quite a bit. They are not compatible filmmakers at all.
but it's still his greatest film. Still his greatest.
Oh my god.
It's shot by John Alcott, who did a fantastic job with this. The shots in this, the compositions are
Amazing.
brilliant. Especially the scene when
The opening shot.
the opening, which has Joba from Brockhampton. He's one of Alex's droogs, who later becomes a police officer. Straight up looks like Joba.
He does.
But also the scene where they go to the home and the guy's on the typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
The composition, kind of pre what's his name, the indie director that everyone splooges over. Did,
Wes Anderson?
Yeah, Wes Anderson. Similar to how he does Symmetry. The symmetry of that back wall is fantastic.
Well, Kubrick's always had a thing for like symmetry and like point of view shots where like you create the tunnel effect or like the single point. He's always had a thing for that.
Stars Malcolm McDowell, who can get it. 3 years after his debut in Lindsay Anderson's If, which is a fantastic
film.
movie.
One
Doesn't
we should
get
also,
enough.
you should also
that's
talk
another
about
one,
it. Yeah.
I've been meaning. I haven't seen that since.
I have it.
sophomore
I
years.
bought. I
Yeah.
bought literally right after we watched it in film class. That day, I hopped online and bought the Blu-ray from eBay.
It's great. He plays just Alex.
He
in
plays.
a sense.
He plays an Alex that's not horrible. He plays like the charming aspects of him. He plays like all the things that, like make people relate and like the character, but none of his like awful human being
So
characters.
he's just Morty, or no, he's Rick.
no.
He's the narrator from Fight Club.
Yeah.
But that's a great film.
Yeah.
And music by Wendy Carlos, who actually I didn't know this. There's an actual album version of this. I didn't know. It's on vinyl. There's pressings of it. I found it on Discogs for like $20.
Wow.
I've been debating buying it.
You're going to. I know you are.
At some point, not now.
You're gonna buy just like I'm gonna eventually buy like the Eraserhead soundtrack somewhere, or I'm gonna buy any other David Lynch.
Why would
album
you
on
buy
vinyl.
the Eraserhead soundtrack when you can get this for free?
Because
In heaven.
everything is because that's not the Eraserhead soundtrack at all. All right, do you know what that is?
The Eraserhead soundtrack?
Yeah, no,
It's
no,
this. In heaven.
no.
It's good enough.
That's the Aphex Twin remix of the Eraserhead soundtrack.
No, there's no hi-hats. You gotta do the hi-hats. You can do the hi-hats. Music by Wendy Carlos. Fantastic title sequence, title music from A Crackle Orange is what it's called, but it's from Henley Parcel's music for the funeral of Queen Mary. Fantastic track, one of my favorite tracks in visual media. Up there with the theme song from BoJack Horseman, the soundtrack to Twin Peaks, and the music to the perfect soundtrack in Swords 2, Silent Hill 2.
Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, perfect soundtrack.
Sorry, Bother You, which just came up on the theme behind us. That's why I thought it also has a great soundtrack. It
Okay.
was like right
okay.
before that
I thought
one,
you were
yeah.
talking about like I had a Windows notification up
No.
there, and it was just like, oh, you need to update. And I was be like, Windows, you need to update my dick. It's one of the most political, controversial films of all time. Also,
Banned for a couple places. It was on the Catholic Church's shit list of films.
which is also including A Grinch Stole Christmas because he stole Christmas, and that's not allowed by the Catholic Church.
I feel like you're making it up, but I don't know for certain.
I feel like some places have banned it. Same reason some places have banned Harry Potter.
Yeah. But yeah, it was put on the Catholic Church, which is actually hilarious because like if you do research into like the book, the film version of the book was banned by the Catholic Church for being like a morally corrupting film, yada yada yada, too much sex and violence and all that shit for the Catholic Church. The book itself, written by Anthony Burgess, a Catholic, wrote it very quickly just to get some money, but he wrote it as like a defense of like the necessity of like Catholic morality. So like they shot themselves in the foot a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the Catholic Church, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, shoot yourself in the foot.
So it's time to get into the main beef of the show.
The Wikipedia
The
summary.
Wikipedia summary of the plot.
I feel like when we do this for like some of the crazier films like Eraserhead, this segment's gonna be just a nightmare.
Sure.
It's gonna be shorter, or we're gonna get ones that are like super detailed over like every weird ass
So Avengers
detail.
Endgame.
Yeah.
That wasn't super detailed, but
Yeah.
there were still some things we had to fill in. But I'm gonna actually let you read this. We're not gonna be super into detail as we were for Avengers Endgame because that went on too long. But I'm gonna let you read this, and when I have anything to say, I will stop you.
Am I allowed to say something if I read something that I want to make? Okay.
yeah. No, you're not, because I hate you. Please
Aw.
die.
Aww.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wikipedia summary.
Greatest resource known to man, just to let you know.
Yep.
And some known to dogs.
Yep. Hang on. I'm gonna need some water for this. Gotta.
You gotta hydrate.
I gotta hydrate.
Because you can't misspeak in Wikipedia's words, or else the Wikipedia gods will frown upon you and
smite you.
Change your Wikipedia page to say you smell like dog shit.
I feel like when I have a Wikipedia page, you're gonna do that.
I'm gonna change your name to Jonathan Piecer. It's just gonna be the photo of Mario taking a piss. Have you ever seen that meme? I'm gonna put that on screen for the YouTube viewers.
In a futuristic Britain, Alex the Large. First thing I want to bring up is the bookie has no last name, but that's whatever. Is the leader of a gang of droogs.
Which means friend.
We'll get into that later when we talk about like the weird like lingo.
You can explain any lingo that pops up.
Okay,
that's a different bit.
Yeah, so like droogs, friends, gang members, homies. It means all that type of stuff. Buckaroos. Leader of a gang of droogs, Georgie, Dim, and Pete. Which Dim was the only one who doesn't go by his actual name. Everybody just calls him Dim because he's stupid.
That's Joba, right?
Yeah, that's the one that looks like Joba. One night after getting intoxicated on drug-laden Milk Plus, which is just milk with drugs in it, which I don't know why they described it in whatever, and engaged in an evening of ultra-violence, you can guess what that means, which includes a fight with a rival gang led by Billy Boy.
That fucking scene is one of the greatest fight sequences of all time.
Yeah.
It's the greatest fight sequence of all time. Because...
Old Boy.
This one.
No.
I like this. Old Boy is like DC in a sense where it's like gritty. This is like the more comic booky one, or like the more playful one. I like Old Boy. The Old Boy one's great.
I don't know.
This is not like your traditional fight sequence because it's stupid.
I guess like in terms of like over the topness, but like in a world where like Mad Max, Fury Road, The Raid Redemption, The Raid 2, the John Wick movies, Old Boy, all these exist.
Do you count anything with guns to be a fight sequence? Or anything with cars to be a fight sequence? Because I think those are either chase sequences if they have cars, or like shootouts or something.
Okay, so maybe not Mad Max.
And maybe not John Wick.
Well, John Wick is gun fu, so it's like a mixture of like shooting and
I hate that term.
Fighting.
I think you mean gunjitsu.
sure, whatever.
That's actually a term.
I know, but so's gun fu, so
I like gunjitsu.
whatever.
It sounds more stupid.
Whatever.
Like it should be.
Point being is in a world where like the
guns
hallway
shoot each
sequence
other.
in Old Boy and every fight sequence in The Raid exists, like it's hard for me to put it at that level, but you do you.
It's perfect. It's so stupid and fun, and the music, which is across this entire thing, all the classical music from Beethoven, is fantastically fit. Wendy's Carlo did a great job with the scoring to this, even though she is just playing Beethoven. Yeah. It just fits. It has that bounciness, and the fact that they're throwing each other all over the place, the fact that everything's just this giant mess. They're in this gritty location. They're all wearing white, and they're all just launching each other into space is the greatest thing. I like this fight sequence a lot. I like the Old Boy one. The Old Boy one's great. That's fantastic shot sequence. I like this one more. Just for the overall package. Old Boy is the actual choreography. This one, it's more just the overall aesthetic. And the fact that they're just hitting each other with chairs was fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny.
It reminds you of wrestling, that's why I like it. So, rival gang led by Billy Boy. They drive to the country home of writer F. Alexander and beat him to the point of crippling him for life.
This is where we got the really good shot of him on the typewriter.
Yep. Alexson rapes Alexander's wife while singing Singing in the Rain, ad-libbed. I don't know if you know the story behind that. During the sequence, Kubrick, who normally hates the idea of ad-libbing, said that something seemed missing from the sequence.
Okay, how did if that was ad-libbed, how did it become a plot point later on?
He just added it.
Okay, then I kind of...
Kubrick writes scripts like as he's going and edits them like as he's shooting very frequently.
Who's the guy that did Breathless?
Jean-Luc Godard.
Oh, Godard. Oh, yeah. I guess that makes
Godard
sense.
does that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically like, basically he was telling me like this feels like it's missing something and he doesn't know what it was. So like he told like Malcolm to just like do something, just try something, see if it worked. And he just started singing in the Rain.
And it's perfect.
And then so they immediately went and had to like get the rights to use the song.
Imagine if they did it.
And now who was in Singing in the Rain? Who was that?
I can't remember.
Anyway, he hates Kubrick now because of what it did to the song. he can no longer like watch that movie or listen to that song without thinking of the rape sequence.
But it's like Malcolm McDowell did a really good job with the song. Even though there's rape, but like
But like you took a moment from like a happy movie that was happy, and then you made it horrifying. I can see where he's coming from. For the rest of us,
but it's a really good movie.
it is a really good movie.
But yeah, this entire sequence, again, I just the character of Alex and kind of like the mannerisms of it's I don't know why I find it so attractive in a sense, both like as like a character and also as like a person.
Yeah.
I don't understand because it's terrible what he's
Yeah.
doing. It's absolutely terrible, and these are like crimes he's committing. No, these are crimes. These are not like crimes.
They are
These
definitely
crimes against humanity.
Modern America may not think these are crimes if you're white, but they are crimes.
But I feel like he has like so much charm and confidence and charisma. He's so every move just seems so effortless.
Yeah.
But it's just so powerful and important, and that's why I like so much about the sequence is that how just I guess he's able to just get your mind off for a second, the terrible act he's doing, to the point where afterwards you're singing in the rain and you have no context of the vicious rape that was being present on screen.
Yeah.
It's that death of character in some sense where he may not be depth filled in the aspect of being a good person or being, I guess, mournful for the crimes he's committed, but more of being depth filled and not being bland.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's rounded in. He's as rounded as a psychopath should be, without compassion.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Scene in the rain. The next day, while truant from school, Alex is approached by his probation officer, Mr. P.R. Deltoid, who is aware of Alex's activities and cautions him in a very weird way when he
Yeah.
gripped his crotch.
This is one scene I find it weird. But
It's weird, but like I don't know. It's kind of like world building, I guess. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like the whole point is like this is technically like a dystopian film. Like the
Yeah.
whole world is corrupt.
It is a
and-
dystopian
yeah,
film.
the whole world's corrupt and vile, and so like I guess it kind of showcases that aspect a little bit.
yeah.
Alex's droogs express discontent with petty crime and want more equality and high yield thefts. But Alex asserts his authority by attacking them. Later, Alex invades the home of a wealthy cat lady.
Oh, one thing I want to mention: the sex scene where he goes to the record store.
Yeah.
And has sex with the two girls afterwards. With the montage of another Beethoven song. Just like the
The high
high speed shot. That's just great composition. Just how the shot's so still and they're doing so much. I just think it's fantastic.
They skipped over the part where he hit a Dim in the crotch with his fist cane. Remember they're walking, but like one of the best shots in the movie, they're walking on the side of like the little river in slow motion. He like pulls out his cane. No, because this happens before he.
Oh,
pulls-
really? Wow.
Because like this is when the
I
game
didn't know we
breaks
got
up.
to that point. Like,
Yeah, and he like walks by. He
Okay,
smacks it.
restart from Alex's droogs.
Alex's droogs express discontent with petty crime and want more equality and high yield thefts, but Alex asserts his authority by attacking them. Like
Okay.
it skips over like
Yeah, that's another
the
great
nature
scene.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like great shot, great sequence, great like choreography of like all the action where he takes his cane and just seemingly out of nowhere just whips it across and hits Dim right in the crotch with his cane, and then kicks him over to the river. And then when like he goes to get up, he just pulls out his knife and slits his hand open.
Yeah, that I can't watch that part.
Yeah.
The slits hand, I can't. I don't know why.
It's
That's-
just-
the cuts, the scraping, just can't do it. Great interpretation of this by South Park. I think one of the Coon episodes. That it did. It's
I think it was like one of the later ones when they're like doing the team.
yeah. It was good. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like the interpretation of it, even though it's just this. But
Yeah.
I think it's actually well done for Cartman's character and how he just reflects Alex, I guess, or
Yeah.
some aspects of Alex because he's incompetent. He's just fat.
Yeah. Anyway, Alex invades the home of a wealthy cat lady. I don't know why they put that in quotes. I don't really see her as like a cat lady. So
No, I think her name is Cat Lady.
Is it Cat Lady?
It might be.
Maybe in the book. I don't get it in the movie because she's just like a recluse. There's like only like one cat I saw, I think. There's
No.
maybe a couple, but like
There's like 8 cats.
Is
know?
there?
Yeah. When was the last time you saw this?
it's been a little while.
Okay, so you didn't want to rewatch that.
No, I've watched this movie though like close to 10 times
Okay,
before.
so this is my favorite film. I've only seen it 3 times.
God, you suck.
So first time I saw it in high school.
I've seen this movie more than my favorite film.
saw this film in high school senior year. I watched it on DVD and like I liked it, but I didn't know how much I liked it. and I maybe reflect on it a lot, but it's something I didn't really think about until I saw it junior year of college, and we saw it in our dystopian class again in the theater, and I really enjoyed it the second time. It like it made I just like the nature of it, but I watched it again. Since that point, it's been my favorite film because it's something that's just made me think a lot. About politics, but also about like shot composition, stuff like that, and how to operate a film, how a film operates, I guess. And I saw it again. This is my third time, only third screening, and I liked it even more than the last time. Even just watching it from my bedroom.
I just watched it. I've watched it a lot. I watched it probably high school, I think, as well. I watched it on, it was like on Netflix or at one point, and I watched
It's
it
still
then.
on Netflix.
Is it still on Netflix?
Yeah, I think they may
cool.
have brought it back at some point.
Yeah, I watched it then, immediately bought the Blu-ray, watched that again, like, I don't know, I have a problem.
You do.
Where I just
You have
buy
multiple
movies.
problems.
Yeah. Like, I bought the movie and immediately rewatched it, even though I had only watched it, like, a couple weeks ago, because it's a really good movie. I found it fascinating. Then I rewatch it every once in a while, and then I watched it again in Dystopia Class of You, and then I watched it again after that, because I was, like, just going through, like, the whole Kubrick series, like, all of his films, and, yeah.
Including AI.
Not including AI, actually. Anyway, Cat Lady plunges her with a phallic sculpture while his droogs remain outside in a very well shot sequence, using a lot of like wide angle lenses with close up shots, which normally look like bad. And it's normally bad, like really bad cinematography, but they work so well here.
A lot because of the setting's really interesting.
Yeah. On hearing sirens, Alex tries to flee, but Dim smashes a bottle on his face, stunning him and leaving him to be arrested by the police.
Also, that Alex sculpture that just looks like it hurts.
Which one?
Just like the penis shape.
Oh, yeah.
How it like looks like it's about to hit her jaw. That just looks like it's painful.
Yeah.
That like it makes sense, but it also looks really painful. So it adds like more stakes to from the imagery.
Yeah. So, stunning him, leaving to be arrested by police. So, with Alex in custody, Mr. Deltoid gloats that the woman he attacked died, making Alex a murderer. He is sentenced to 14 years in prison.
The great use of police brutality there, and how it's demonstrated. Just there's a lot. This thing does a lot of things. A lot of critiques of a lot of things really really well. And it's not even the only critique of police brutality. It's worse.
Yeah, it keeps getting worse. 2 years into the sentence, Alex eagerly takes up an offer to be a test subject for the Minister of the Interior's new
we messed over the scene where essentially he 2 years later he's
finds religion.
He's in the chapel. They're doing the sermon or whatever, and the one guy in front's going, giving little kissy faces over and over again as he's watched on by guards.
And it also like was it in this or later where he has the hallucination of being like one of the people torturing Jesus
That's
Christ.
after that, where he's reading the Bible and he sees those whole entire like dream sequences are always shot beautifully. Like this one and that one and the one in the end, they're just so luscious and like wild in a sense and bright. They like fit that dream-like quality, which is amazing.
Yeah. So, subject for the Minister of the Interior's new Ludovico. I always pronounce this wrong. Ludovico technique. Experimental aversion therapy for rehabilitating criminals within 2 weeks. Alex is strapped to a chair. His eyes are clamped open. He is injected with drugs. Fun fact. They scratched Malcolm McDowell's corneas while putting those in one
Doesn't
scene.
surprise me.
Yep.
I would die. I would physically, once you got near my eye, I would just my body would just shut off.
Yeah. He has been forced to watch films of sex and violence, some of which are accompanied by the music of his favorite composer, Ludwig van Beethoven. Alex becomes nauseated by the films and, fearing the technique will make him sick upon hearing Beethoven, begs for an end to the treatment.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, the minister demonstrates Alex's rehabilitation to a gathering of officials. Alex is unable to fight back against an actor who taunts and attacks him and becomes ill at the sight of a topless woman.
Yeah, that whole entire like topless woman scene is just like completely just out of the ordinary, just completely surrealist and approach. Just that, especially with the mood, the score, the synths that are being used, not only in that scene but across the entire thing, is just like very like trippy, out of mind. You feel like you feel nauseated in a sense. Yeah. I think the scene, the synths add a lot to that.
The prison chaplain complains that Alex has been robbed of his free will. This goes back, and I think it's important that they talk about this, but they didn't talk about it in the summary. Is that like during the whole like time where he's finding faith, even though he finds it because of his like attraction to like the acts of violence described in the Bible. There was like a conversation he has with the priest about like the importance of like choosing to do good, and like how like that's a key aspect of it. And so like it's again, it kind of goes back to the whole Catholic nature of the book, that the Catholic Church just decided that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The minister asserts that the Ludovico technique will cut crime and alleviate crowding in prisons.
Which goes into like mass incarnation and
Which, I mean, like, I guess when you don't live in a country that's literally has capitalist system in charge of the prisons.
no. So it seems I feel like in a similar sense, this is just mass incarnation for like this futuristic time period. Because
Yeah.
one, you could capitalize it. Mm-hmm. You could pay you can pay the prisoners who essentially just become servants because they would have to pay for their own treatment. You cost them the ass for that, so they're basically indebted slaves to you. Two, they can't fight back because you torture them.
Alex is what I was a free man, only to find his parents have sold his possessions as restitution to his victims and have let out his room. That's just a really, really good scene. When they,
Very
like,
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You feel empathy for someone who's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because he can't fight for himself.
Yeah. Alex encounters an elderly vagrant whom he had attacked years earlier, and the vagrant and his friends attack him. Alex is saved by two policemen, but is shocked to find her his former droogs, Dim and Georgie. They drive him to...
Georgie.
Yeah, Joba and Georgie. They drive him to the countryside, beat him up, and nearly drown him before abandoning him. Alex barely makes it to the doorstep of a nearby home before collapsing.
Another demonstration of police brutality.
Yeah, and even, like, of this weird commentary on, like, the type of people who become cops.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you can also, like, extrapolate that to, like, the military. Just anybody who, like, takes a position that puts them in a position of power over other people.
It puts more of a context to how he's treated earlier by the police.
Yeah.
So these were just rebellious youth.
Yeah. And, like, I guess it's a very good, like, commentary on, like, where these attitudes of, like, the police and police brutality come from, because it's basically we just take people, give them a badge and a gun, and suddenly they have power over people.
Yeah.
Alex wakes up to find himself in the home of Mr. Alexander, where he is being cared for by Alexander's manservant, Julian.
Okay, are they fucking? This is like, I don't think it has anything to do with the narrative.
I don't think so.
I'm assuming because, like, he's dressed up in, like women's clothing, right?
Who is?
The manservant.
Not really. It's just,
Was he?
Just, for, like, the 70s, that was just tight men's clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was common clothing back then.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Alexander does not recognize Alex from the previous attack, but knows of Alex in the Ludovico technique from the newspapers. He sees Alex as a political weapon and prepares to present him to his colleagues. Which, again, like, good political commentary, and, like, there are no good sides. Everybody just uses everybody for their own means.
Yeah.
While bathing, Alex breaks into scene in the rain, causing Mr. Alexander to realize that Alex was the person who assaulted him and his wife. With help from his colleagues, Mr. Alexander drugs Alex and locks him in an upstairs bedroom. He then plays Beethoven's Ninth Symphony loudly from the floor below. Alex is unable to withstand the sickening pain and attempts suicide by throwing himself out of the window, falling unconscious on the ground. They broke a camera to get that shot. They just threw a camera out the window.
It's filmmaking. One thing I forgot to mention was when he gets drugged, the scene where he gets drugged and wakes up, and they're playing Beethoven. The great moment of when he's getting wine, just the tension in that room, but also leading up to the giant ass punchline where he's like, "I don't feel good," or whatever he says, and he just goes face into the spaghetti. It's just fantastic.
Try the wine.
It's that tension, that awkwardness, that weirdness. It's brilliant.
And the face he makes when he was, like, sitting by the door, like, listening to, like, that weird face, like, when he hears Singing in the Rain, like, it's so weird. There's, like, I've seen, like, some people, like, absolutely hate that face, and some people, like, love it. I kind of am on the love it side. This film's already, like, ridiculous and over the top in a lot of ways, so I think it fits. Alex wakes up in a hospital with broken bones. While being given a series of psychological texts, Alex finds that he no longer has aversions to violence and sex. The minister arrives and apologizes to Alex.
His parents also arrive.
Yeah.
Apologize to him.
And what I love about this moment is, like, his fucking cocky ass attitude when it comes to being fed. Like, just
Yeah, that's always stuck in my fucking mind.
It's amazing.
It's just that's such how it would go too.
And that was also ad-lib.
It doesn't surprise me. That just seems like all Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah. So he offers to take care of Alex and get him a job in return for his cooperation with his election campaign and public relations counteroffensive. As a sign of goodwill, the minister brings in stereo systems playing Beethoven's Ninth. Alex Finn contemplates violence in his vivid thoughts of having sex with a woman in front of an approving crowd and thinks himself, I was cured all right.
And then the great title sequence after, or credit sequence afterward, was Singing in the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Why this film's great. I don't know. Why is this my favorite film? I'll get into that. Get into that real fast. One, the amount of subjects it's covering in this, and amount of political material is being covered in this. Two, shot composition, the score, and how it's distinctive to this film, taking classical music and finding synths, creating this weird aura of just nausea and just confusion. The characters, how everything's very over the top, how Alex is essentially just Malcolm McDowell. He just feels that like charisma, that shine, that glisten to the psychopath.
That he never really ever got again because his career went downhill.
Apparently you haven't seen. Now you see me. Actually, I don't think he is in that one. No, I think
That's Morgan Freeman.
no, it's who's the guy in Batman or Dark Knight? Not other British guy.
Yeah.
Other British old guy.
Shit, why am I literally was talking about him the other day.
Not Hopkins, is it?
No, that's not Anthony Hopkins. Michael Caine.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what he's in. Then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was in Tank Girl. He was in fucking Tank Girl.
He was in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 as a DLC character of the Zombies storyline. He was added a late edition, and he was actually the best part of that storyline.
He was in Caligula, like infamously one of the worst films ever made.
Okay.
It's also like a 3-hour long porno movie. Softcore porn. He was in
Which is this?
What?
Which is this?
No,
I'm
like
kidding.
like actual like
Sarcasm.
porn. He was in this really awful Christian movie called Suing the Devil. He played the devil.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, like it makes sense for him as an actor, like to play the devil, but not in that movie.
He was in like the 2 sequels to If. And none of them were.
that nobody knows about.
Yeah, I've only seen the last one.
I've only seen If. I haven't even bothered trying to find the other ones.
The other one, the last one, I forget something Britannica Hospital or something like that.
Is it good?
It's a thing. Also, it features a post Star Wars. What's his name? Joker.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anywho, why is this your favorite film?
Why is this my favorite film? Again, the amount of political subjects it counters, the score, the shot composition, the direction, the characters, pretty much everything. I pretty much summed it up right there. It's what I like about music, in a sense, because music, my favorite albums are ones I go back to and I keep on constantly relearning things about these things I've listened to or I've listened to 1,000 times. Like, for example, Kendrick Lamar's The Member Butterfly. I've listened to that
Great album.
over 100 times, but every time I come back to it, I learn something new.
I can't listen to that album very often. Like, here's.
I don't listen to it a lot, but when it first came out for the first year, I listened to it a lot.
I don't, because like every time I listen to it, I want to be able to like sit down and just listen to it, and I don't have the time to do that very often. Pretty much any time I have to do that now, because we're doing the music show podcast, I do that instead. So pretty much, dude, as bad as it is to say, the Kendrick Lamar album I return to the most is probably his worst one, which is Damn.
I've come to acceptance that it's probably better than Section 80.
I've never actually even listened to Section 80, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Damn has better tracks on it
Yeah.
than Section 80.
Like, that's the thing about Damn. Damn has just good tracks, but it's not a great, like, album. So.
Yeah. Probably should get back to this.
Yeah.
I just feel like every time I come back to it, I learn something new. And I'm always wowed away by everything that's presented to me. And I don't know. I just feel like this film has a lot of meaning. And just as time goes on, this film gets even more and more political. And it just ages like fine wine. Unlike Malcolm McDowell, apparently.
No, his career did not age like fine wine. His career aged like milk.
Also, I would not fuck him. Current Malcolm McDowell. Young Malcolm McDowell. And so that's it for basically the descriptions of the film. Now it's time to get into...
I love the film as well. I've talked to how much I've watched it. I like it for all the same reasons, all the political commentary. I also like the philosophical questions it raises up about free will. Like, is free will something that you can take away from somebody?
Get closer to the mic.
Is free will something? Is free will something you can take away? Is it something you should take away even from the worst of people? And it's just good like existentialist questions about like free will and right versus wrong and the subjectivity of like evil and how no one's truly good, no one's truly bad, these kind of questions. So I like it for that. I like the commentary, I like the politics, I like the way it looks, I like the way it's shot. I love Kubrick's directing, I love Malcolm McDowell's acting.
Yeah.
Great film.
It's now time for the final bit before we get to the last little segment. We're gonna go over Nadsat slang. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Nadsat was like a combination of like Russian slang with like British lingo.
Okay, so let me go. I have a description. Nadsat is a fictional register or argot used by the teenagers in Anthony Burgess's novel Clockwork Orange. In addition to being a novelist, Burgess was a linguist, and he used this background to depict his characters as speaking a form of Russian-influenced English. Now this is the fun part. I want you to change the meanings of these slang words to reflect our culture of Dayton, Ohio. So, like, they don't have to be the same meaning, but they have to mean something that relates to modern day conceptual Dayton, Ohio. You think you can handle it?
Sure.
Okay. Bruise boy, which is a police officer or security guard.
A police officer beating up an innocent civilian.
That's you. Maybe change it a little bit, but oh well.
Okay.
I'll give you that. A Clockwork Orange, which the title of the film comes from, a human who is mechanically responsive.
A human being on heroin becoming mechanical, trying to get more heroin.
Jesus Christ. I feel like all these are just gonna be heroin. Vidi, which is to see.
To see some heroin.
God damn it. Schlappa, which is a hat.
The hat you hide your heroin
That's
needle
exactly what I thought you were gonna say. Afishanitsa, which is to be drunk.
with. To be high on heroin.
God damn it. Lucius Glory, which is hair. More used in like a sexual term.
Yeah. Heroin.
God damn it. So that's just heroin in
Yeah,
general?
that's just heroin.
A Luby Lubin, which is making love.
Making love high on heroin.
God damn it. Eggy Wig, which is just an egg. And if you say egg where you keep your heroin, I'm going to slap you in the face.
No, it's an egg you inject heroin into and then eat.
I don't think that's how drugs work. Can you eat heroin? And
You can snort heroin in its powder form.
Okay. Droog, which is a friend. And if you say friend who's on heroin, I'm...
No, a friend who gives you heroin. Or heroin dealer.
Droogie, which is to be friendly. I already know what the answer is, but I was
To be a good mate who tries to get you off heroin.
no, I thought it was a mate to be a mate that gives you heroin.
Nah, get you off the heroin.
Okay.
To be a droog is to give you heroin. To be a droogie is to get you off of heroin.
It's the old in and out, which is sexual intercourse.
The process of putting a needle into your arm and then taking it out after you have injected the heroin into your
These
blood.
just apply to heroin, Jesus.
Because you said the current culture of Dayton, Ohio. What we got going on? We got heroin.
That's a nice AMSR.
Yep.
So, main question, last question, important question, hardest question.
Hardest question.
Hardest question known to man. Is it a film?
No. I'm kidding, yes.
If it wasn't, I was going to be just really confused. We're going to have to get into a 50-minute debate. I'm not ready for that. Yeah. I really like this. I really like this film. It's my favorite film of all time. And that's it. This is the end of the show. I really had fun with this show.
Yeah.
And it went as good as it should have. Next week we're gonna do Jonathan's favorite film.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell them what it is, or just let him wait?
Let him wait.
I feel like I've probably already said it.
Probably already said it. It's
Yeah.
probably already predictable, but we'll let him wait.
It's Transformers 2.
Oh, that peaked. I don't like that. I'll just give him a little hint. Don't. I'm not. I was gonna. Don't.
Oh, you are sick.
Yeah, that's good. I was gonna just come up with a bad pun, but that's good enough.
Yeah.
This has been episode 2 of Is It a Film? An episode we will like to call Nothing Rhymes with Clockwork Orange. If you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/The Anthony and Todd Show.
Until we get our own. Eventually we're going to get our own, right?
At some point.
Good.
Unless you just want to give me money right now, then we can have our own.
No.
Have our own right now, Jonathan.
Give a bunch of money to the Anthony and
No,
Todd
just get a
show.
bunch of
In the
money.
message, put get it fucking your own shit,
No.
and then we can get our own shit.
We are at Twitter at Anthony and Todd. We're at Facebook. Like our Facebook page.
I feel like we can at least make a separate Twitter account for it.
That takes ever.
It takes like a minute. You lazy piece of shit. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Well, send me the logo so I can put the logo
I don't
and
have
shit
a
on.
logo.
Make a logo. Or I'll make a logo. Somebody should make a logo.
Future. Yeah, like I said, Anthony and Todd on Facebook, and
We should also make our own Facebook page and our own Instagram.
And yeah, if you want to watch our Twitch streams at twitch.tv/The Anthony and Touch, I'm not quitting creating a Twitch account for.
Oh, I don't give a shit. I'm not on Twitch.
Yeah, I stream like once in a while.
Yeah.
I play like Silent Hill 2, or sometimes I play Metal Gear.
It's mostly Silent Hill 2. isn't it?
Mostly Silent Hill 2. I haven't streamed in a while, so. Because
You can skip the Twitch. Clearly, that's not worthwhile.
Silent Hill 2 is the greatest.
Yes.
It's the greatest visual art to ever
Yes,
exist.
Silent Hill 2 is an amazing game. I'm not saying it's not worthwhile. I'm saying following you on Twitch isn't worthwhile because you're barely on it.
I am
You
streaming.
can probably find another Twitch streamer who's twitching while streaming Silent Hill 2.
Yeah. You can probably find another Twitch streamer who's masturbating while they're streaming.
That's what I meant by twitching.
God damn it. I thought that was just another form for doing heroin.
Yeah, that's what masturbating
Oh,
means.
God damn it. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Joffin.
And see ya, boyos. See ya, droogs.
The droogs.